All right, welcome to Unmask,
Thank you.
Mr. Prosper,
Thank you, Sakura.
Mr. Pekon. Tell us about the journey of Pekon. How did you start designing architectural designs? What was it like for you?
Okay, while growing up, I had this thing for crafting. Yeah, so I always told myself that I'm going to make models because when I see them online, I love it.
Mm,
So down to 2022, when I was in my IT, so
mm,
I had to connect with my boss, Mr. Interior Cornelius.
mm,
And though I wasn't really good at the modeling thing,
mm,
and he asked me, "Can you do this?" I
mm.
said yes, even though the knowledge wasn't too much.
Okay,
So he sent me money, and with that first,
try.
yeah, that first try, I was on tension. I was so tensed,
You
like
collected money,
I collected
so
money.
now you have to deliver.
Yeah,
All right.
and the thing is, most of the places I would get the materials for the model, I had to start asking because I was new to it.
What if you
So
didn't deliver? What were you going to do? What was your plan B?
okay, my plan B was there was something I did too that I didn't deliver so well.
Okay.
So thank God for his kind of person.
Mm,
Yeah, he encouraged me. He didn't actually condemn it.
mm,
So there was this guy that was present in his office then. He told me that if you're doing it next time,
mm,
you have to be very, very precise when it comes to the
mm,
cutting
mm,
because he's too fixed on details.
mm.
Any little thing, he will just know that, oh, this thing is not in alignment.
Yeah.
So with the environment I was then, I was encouraged to improve more.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was nothing like, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do this,
Yeah.
and I was discouraged. No, I wasn't. So
So you were able to deliver your first job.
I was able to do, and he was surprised at
Mm.
my first
Do you
trial.
work?
Like,
Do you work well under pressure?
no, 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 I don't work well under pressure. I
Why?
think I love taking my time. There's something that resonates with me, which is it's not bad to take it slow.
Mm,
Yes, but what is bad is taking it slow and then not doing the job excellently well.
mm,
Because I found out that if I want to do something, it's not about the rush,
mm,
but taking it slow will help me to bring in every details needed for that job. Because
mm.
if I tend to do it in a hurry,
You may miss out
I
on
may miss out.
details.
And one thing is architecture. I studied architecture, and most of the
Mm.
times our lecturers will want to pressure you into almost there's jury the next Tuesday.
You have to
So
do
how
it
do you want
quick.
to cope up? So we spend time at night. There was this period where I slept. I didn't sleep for 2 days. I didn't even lie down. I was just sitting and standing and drawing. So under that pressure. So though I delivered, but to some point there were certain things. Even at the day of the jury, I saw myself still doing my cover page, which is the first sheet. Which is the first sheet. I left the cover page and I was doing other sheets. So working under pressure sometimes might be a little bit.
So when you see your designs, how do you feel?
Okay, first of all, I encourage myself by saying you did a good job.
Mm,
Yeah, because that is very, very important.
mm,
And most of the times when there was this time when I was doing a job and I was so angry at myself because the outcome wasn't really what I wanted. But I kept telling myself, you're not done with this job, finish it first. So until I finished it, I was like, wow. I was so happy with myself that I didn't condemn the process because
mm.
the process was looking so, oh my, this thing not go work. The colors and everything.
Yeah. So there's always this thing with the process. It's not
Yes,
beautiful.
yes,
The work is always
yes. The
beautiful.
work when I'm done with it, it
Yeah.
always stands out. So I normally appreciate myself. Then I go forward further to look at the mistakes I did and
Okay.
then on how to improve
Improve on
it
it.
on it. Yeah.
That's
So
powerful. Do you think architecture can make you a billionaire, and how?
can architecture make me a billionaire? Okay, first of all, the architectural space and the ideology in Nigeria
Mm,
is limited, knowing that, or maybe having this potential thought about can an architect be a
mm,
billionaire?
mm.
But it's not going to be possible in Nigeria as it stands.
Okay.
And why? Because
Mm,
we don't value the expertise of an architect.
okay.
Outside here, architects are like one of the most richest persons in the
Mm,
country because of the value they have on them. Because if you want to bring an architect for a building project, and then you start charging the architect less, definitely that architect won't give you all
Okay.
of what he knows. And most of the times now, we thank God that architects these days, we are now wising up to charge clients based on we passed through a lot in school. There were times where we would do a design, the time you spent on it, the energy you spent on it, and your lecturer would tear the shit. Your lecturer will condemn it. Your lecturer will curse you. Your lecturer will tear that shit and throw it at you. So with all of these
Those lecturers,
experiences,
those lecturers, if architecture was as blossoming as as powerful as and that they are tearing your papers and I mean
yeah,
how much do they get paid to lecture you guys? I'm just saying truly.
yeah, I
Because
understand.
I've thought about it. I have a friend, his dad, I think his dad is an architect.
Okay, yeah,
They have their house. Once I saw their house, I knew this thing was kind of different.
yeah,
But over here in Nigeria, I don't know how many persons give credence to architecture. Like
yeah.
if you want to build a house, you just call your brother or your sister that is an engineer. You just drop plan. Put kitchen here, put toilet here, yeah, put roof.
Yeah,
And I mean majority of the houses over here in Nigeria, except maybe the elites may want to put a lot of architectural
architecture,
stuff.
yeah.
So what do you think is the future of architecture in Nigeria? How can there be some kind of relevance to this sector? Because when you talk about civil engineering, people only maybe talk about maybe the engineer, the site manager,
Yeah,
we don't really hear so much about the architects,
architects.
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So sometimes we even hear more about surveyors than we
yeah,
hear about
yeah,
architects. So
architects. Yeah.
so yeah, tell us about that.
Okay. Based on what I said earlier on, first of all, the architectural industry in Nigeria, it's their foundations are shaky.
Do they have an organization?
Yes, we have an organization. So their foundations are shaky, and that's really affecting how people see architects. Yeah. So because the foundation is shaky, some persons wouldn't want to value an architect involving in their building projects. Because first of all, if you want to design, an architect is the master builder of the design. Any client who wants to consult anybody for his building, first of all,
The first
the
person.
first person is the architect, because the architect knows the principles, he knows the processes. And me, I want to be that person that will speak loud about the value of architecture and an architect. That's why I started the movement Architecture and the Society. So I talked with one of my mentors. He said yes, that I should do it because so many persons are seeing how architects are not really valued in the system. And one thing I want to do is I want to be that voice, because yes, I think yesterday also I was thinking, who is that one architect that goes around speaking about the importance of architecture? How can an architect be valued? The because if you want to measure the civil engineer and the architect, one thing they taught us is the architect is the master builder, is the mother of engineering. Because for a civil engineer to carry out a construction, definitely, first of all, the design must be in place. So who does the design is the architect. And if the architect is not there, then the civil engineers can't do anything construction.
So I'm thinking social media is a big space.
Yeah.
And currently we have lots of persons who are putting out their craft. I know I can't remember the name, but there's this guy that critiques buildings
Yeah.
and structures. I can't remember his name, but I think he's a Yoruba guy. And he does
Is
really
it
well.
for Lajumi?
And some maybe where it shows how buildings are either properly
Yeah.
made properly or they are made in a very terrible manner and
Yeah.
then he reviews it. So I'm thinking, since you're doing architecture and you want to be a voice,
Yeah.
in this space, what steps have you taken to put yourself out there?
Okay. So first of all, I got the vision 2022 on how to make architecture valued. And the first step I've taken is, okay, I went down to start studying most of the mistakes that people normally see when it comes to they are not hearing about architecture, they're not hearing about the architects, they're not hearing about how can an architect transform our society. So I went into research and start researching more on how an architect can improve the society. So that was my first step. And then my second step was I actually talked about it to my mentor, and then he gave me some advice. He gave me what and what to do, some steps to do. Then from there, I had to push it online. First of all, I did Architecture and Society last 2 years. So I just tried it. I stirred the waters, and okay, I saw some improvement. I saw some feedbacks. So this year again, I started it, and people were like, "Wow, thank you for pushing this knowledge." Now I've come to understand how an architect can play a huge role in my building project. So the first step is thinking about it, making research, and then pushing myself out there. So I started making short reels, educating people about the levels of architectural design, the first level down to the finishing level, the process of the architect and the client, and then involving other engineers in the building process.
Can you tell us where you post these videos of architecture?
Okay, I have a page called Pecon on
Okay.
Facebook. Yeah, so I post a whole lot when it comes to architecture. Yeah, I educate
So if I
people.
go there, I'll be finding a lot of information about
Yes,
architecture.
definitely you find a lot of information about architecture on
Great.
my page. Yeah.
So I understand that you're a minister also. Tell me, how has ministry influenced your personal values as being an architect, how you deliver your work?
Okay, one of my watchword is excellence. Yeah, and also diligence. There were times where I was I wanted to give up because doing something different in the society takes a whole lot of energy and pressure and then your mindset. So there was a whole lot of time when I wanted to give up, but I saw a vision of of where I'm going to, because God gave me a clear vision that this is where you're going to. So that passion actually has always been there in me, even when almost there is no results, no evidence of this thing you're doing. So how do you want to push when there's no result? Because I asked myself so many a times, almost this thing you're doing, no
Will it pay
results,
you?
will it pay you?
Are you sure you're ready to be drawing?
Yeah, but my mind was fixed on the later effect of what I'm doing now.
So that means when you started, you weren't sure if it was
I
going to
wasn't
pay.
really sure, but staying in the business actually gave me much more clarity and then push. Someone said, I've not seen any principal person in architectural space doing what you're doing, and that's caught more
Your
of me
attention.
my attention. I'm like, okay, which means if there's nobody and me standing in the space, will actually give me a way to that to achieve what I want to achieve. So being a minister and then balancing all of these things, diligence, and then being skilled in my craftsmanship. When I started doing crafting, then in school I was like, I'm going to do this thing. I said it in my mind. So when I was done with school, my boss asked me, can you do this? I said yes. I didn't even know the price of materials. I didn't know where to get the materials. I didn't know the processes.
But you were ready.
Yes, I was ready.
And all you needed was somebody to try you out.
That's it. So when he said, okay, go and do this, when he sends the money,
What was
the
your
money
opportunity?
that
The one that was big, and you're like, let me not waste this thing. I would like big. But I'm glad you were able to deliver. However, I would love to ask,
Okay.
looking at the future, do you think you want to be able to have like an institution that will encourage architecture, or are you looking to have like a system where young architects are going to be encouraged? Like, what's your plan beyond the fact that you're going to make money? What's your plan for society with architecture, empowering young people, the next generation, how they see architecture and all of that?
Okay, so while growing up, I had this vision, or should I say dream, of creating a system and a structure where young architects, civil engineers can come in to learn and then to build themselves, thereby working in my construction company and using them as a tool to fast track the movement. So I have this thing ongoing, first of all, and I want to be able to design and come up with my own architectural modeling company, where modeling will just be the specifics. You don't have to do any other things, because I found out that we actually bypass the process of building projects stages. Some persons will just want to design and then give to the builder to start building. But outside here, the architectural modeling is very important, because you have to see how the building will look like first before erecting it on the ground. So I want to create that company where you will have to consult us for your models. There's this company online that I follow a lot. It's called Aruji Models. These people, they are so crazy when it comes to models, and both the USA, like they do models for the world. So you have to come to their company in their showroom. You see your model, then you buy it. But first of all, the design must be made first. So I want to be that system in Nigeria here in this region where we can be able to do architectural models, craft the models, and then you use it for your building project. So that's one of my biggest dream.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So, talking about profits, I know you're doing architecture currently.
Yeah.
So, how do you put yourself out there to get jobs, or let's say, gigs?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. How do you position yourself? Because these days branding is about perception.
Yeah.
And if people don't perceive you to be able to deliver excellently or know you enough, nobody would give you gigs. So beyond the fact that you work with a real estate company and then you have opportunity to, deliver, are there ways you've been able to put yourself out there to connect with others?
Okay. I use architecture and the society as a medium. Yeah. First of all, now I'm working underground. And one thing I learned from my boss, he said, when you don't have the system in place, show yourself, be visible by educating people about what you know. Thereby, you're actually creating credibility. You're telling people that, okay, this is what you're into. And then people are now trusting you. Yeah. So first of all, what I'm doing now is educating people, giving people tips. So that when I want to push what I want to do in the market, okay, people are like, okay, this guy is already in the business already. So that is one of my strategy I'm using now. Let people see my face. Let people see that, okay, this is what this guy is doing. This is what he's saying about architecture. So, and by that means, I know a lot of persons that have reached out to me when it comes to jobs, but I'm just taking it step by step. Yeah.
All right, thanks so much for coming around. And
Thank you so
we've
much,
been able
sir.
to learn from your values, how you started, to where you are, and the future. It's beautiful to know that big things can be done from a small place.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I honestly believe that. So, hope to see you again. And maybe the next time we're having this podcast, Pecon would have been, a global sensation.
Definitely, yes.
And, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sakuna.
Cheers.